Okay, great, Mike.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, Pat, if I... Yeah, I don't have a whole... Oh, wait a minute. I got it now. Okay, all
right. Let's deliver the mail, baby. I hear you.
Welcome to the capital of California and the NBA playoffs on TNT. Tonight in Sacramento, the Kings against the Phoenix Suns. Here are tonight's Gatorade starting lineups. Kidd, Ellie, Marion, Sakalidis, the rookie, and Clifford Robinson. And for the Kings, Williams, Christie, Stojakovic, Divac, and Weber. And let's go back over to Craig Sager.
Well, thank you, Kevin. You know, a lot of people think that Chris Webber has not been the same since he came back from that ankle injury. He was gone for 3 weeks until he returned in mid-March. I talked to him before the game tonight, and he admitted there is something different. He says, I don't feel the same, my gait is not the same, but more importantly, I've gone away from some of my big moves. I said, like what? He goes, if you look last few games, I've not been able to do the little jump hook. I get no explosion. He even looked at some game films where he saw Vlade Divac beating him down the floor. He said, I really feel bad. I haven't been able to do the things I normally do, but there's no time to worry about it now. I'm not going to talk about this ankle injury anymore, except after this moment right here with you, because we have to win this game. But he did admit that he hasn't been able to do and has not been doing the things that made him an MVP candidate early in the year.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. On the Phoenix side, Sean Marion has been a blur so far, not only in the regular season, but of course in the first game. 21 points and 10 rebounds. He was excellent, as was Jason Kidd with 18 points and 14 assists. He led the NBA for a third consecutive year in assists. But Stojakovic and Weber of the Sacramento Kings, Danny Ainge, have got to have big games tonight.
I agree. Stojakovic needs to get hot from the outside, but Divac and Weber need to dominate the paint. That's where they have an advantage against Phoenix, and they didn't do it in game 1. I expect them to focus on that a little bit more in game 2.
Our officials tonight, Bernie Fryer, Ted Bernhardt, and Don Vaden. A good crew, and the Kings begin it with Christie on the perimeter, picked up by Ellie. Divac, the rookie Sakalidis. Out of bounds, he stepped. And we'll go to the Phoenix Suns.
Sakalidis did a great job of bodying up to Divac and keeping him under the glass. If they're going to put emphasis there with Weber and Divac on the inside, Phoenix has got to step up and become far more physical.
Marion and Stojakovic, the key matchup tonight, and Jason Kidd launching his first shot with the rebound inside, claimed by Marion.
And Sacramento needs to do a better job. If there's one focus defensively they need to do, it's a better job of defending the pick and rolls. But they pick and pop because of the great shooting of the forwards of Phoenix.
Mario Ellie, who has 3 championship rings with the miss. Here comes Williams, dancing through traffic to the hole. Oh, and slammed in by Vlade Divac.
You know, what was interesting about that is Jason Williams was flying up the court, but no one else was running with him. Vlade trailed the play, but Doug Christie and Stojakovic are just standing and watching. They're surprised that they're running off of the missed shot.
Well, Scott Skiles then said to us this afternoon, the two things he had to stop is the three-point goal and the fast break, and they've got to stop the fast break in order to be effective.
Weber from outside gave it a thought. Robinson was there with the defense. Then a feed to Stojakovic.
Well, Rick Adelman couldn't have drawn up a better start, getting Vlade a dunk in transition and Stojakovic a wide-open jump shot.
Shawn Marion with the miss. Weber gets the rebound.
Well, and two things Weber did good. When he came down in the beginning, he faked the jump shot, and then he passed it outside and went inside. He's got to definitely establish himself inside in order for the outside shooters to get off.
Kidd to Marion, sliding inside and finding two as he slid by Stojakovic.
Well, slide is the right. Shawn has a unique game. He's just got that quick step and that little floating shot going to the basket.
Divac again. Working on the rookie, 10 years younger than he. Ellie gets the loose ball.
Great steal by Jason Kidd, digging off of the passer right there, knocking the ball free.
Screen by Robinson, who then gets the feed from Kidd. Clifford Robinson.
That was set up by the penetration of Kidd. You've got to stop Kidd also in transition. You've got to stop his penetration, because once he penetrates, he can score off of his penetration, but he also can find his outside shooters extremely well.
Weber sets a screen for Christie. Inside, the ball is loose. Retrieved by Sacramento, and a whistle blown. And it was kicked, and it will be Phoenix's ball.
Running against three defensive players, but Vlade trails the play. One guy wanting to run with Jason Williams.
Ellie again with another three try, and again a miss with the rebound by Weber. Ellie, great defense at the other end to knock it away. And here comes Christie, who steps out of bounds as he drives with his own steal, and it goes back to the Suns.
Well, and that...
Marion to Robinson, picked up by Weber. Christie is there, now the Sun to rebound.
Boy, and they're shooting up so many deep shots, and they're missing those shots and really not going to the offensive board. When Jason Kidd penetrates, that gives them more an advantage than just heisting up those long shots.
Phoenix is 2 of 8. Here comes Weber from outside with the Kidd rebound and a quick lead to the galloping Robinson at the other end. Jason Williams inside. Stojakovic unsuspecting of the pass. Ellie to Kidd, who flips it off to Ellie, who drives inside and counted for 2.
The interesting thing about that is that Chris Webber never came back down court, and still Jason Kidd pressured the ball down and was able to get a layup out of it.
Well, Sacramento likes this tempo a little bit better than Phoenix, but Phoenix is taking opportunities. They lead the league in steals, or second in steals to Sacramento, but they're scoring so easily in the transition defense against Sacramento is not very good to start this game.
And Sacramento won't like it long if they keep getting those results.
An 8-0 run by the Phoenix Suns, who lead it 8-4.
And it's all off the turnovers. They're not even getting good looks at the basket right now.
5 of them. Christie inside, driving on Robinson.
Well, Jason Kidd is one of the best players in the open court, if not the best. Great vision up the court right there. He sees Robinson. Weber, great block from behind. And they just keep coming running at each other. The sequence hasn't stopped. You see 3-on-1. Mario Ellie going in there. He's done that before.
In the NBA, Doug Christie. What, John, a great acquisition he was in the trade corliss. Williamson going to the Toronto Raptors, and Christie, whose calling card is defense, coming to Sacramento.
Well, and particularly because of what he brought to the table. You're talking about a guy that's not afraid to get loose balls, will rebound, will run the floor, will do all the intangible things that a lot of the more glamour boys won't do.
7.5 to play in the first.
And plus, he's a guy that just doesn't demand the ball. I mean, he'll take the open shots, and he's a pretty good offensive player, but he doesn't have to have a lot of shots.
Robinson across the lane with the Sacramento foul called inside.
Because he's the other team's best player. He's not a great defender. He can defend, but he doesn't like to get in foul trouble. So they're going at Chris Webber just because he's the other team, whether he's healthy or whether he's hurting. They're going to attack him no matter what.
The Suns said they were concerned about the Kings' transition. I also think that Phoenix has got to be very concerned. I mean, I also think that the Kings have to be concerned at the pace that Jason Kidd is pushing his ball.
Kings have 5 turnovers on 10 possessions.
And that's why Phoenix is able to run. Phoenix is not really a high-tempo team this year, but they will run off of turnovers.
Williams open to fire. Jason Williams has 2. The Kings down by 2. Marion swings it over to Elliott across the lane. The flip to Sakalitis.
Sakalitis would have had a layup that time had he rolled to the basket. He was still standing on the outside of the lane once Marion had pushed his man.
Divac gets the Marion miss. Williams for 3.
Oh, you gotta love that guy. He plays with a lot of energy, but the guy's got to start running with him. You know, I don't see the Sacramento Kings running with Jason. They're just, they're hoping he makes that. No offensive rebounders and no wings being filled.
Divac and Sakalitis.
I think Jason Williams loves this atmosphere. He thrives in an upbeat, high-tempo atmosphere that we're looking at.
Robinson fouled inside by the Kings.
You know, they have some concerns about his outside shooting sometimes, but when he gets it going and the spirit of how he likes to play.
Robinson at the free throw line. There was a story in the Sacramento Bee yesterday here in town. Williams said, Danny, there may have been a communication gap between he and his coach, Rick Adelman.
Yeah, I don't see that. We've done about 5 of their games so far, Kevin, and we know what his role is.
Well, all that stuff is a bunch of bull. You got to put that stuff out the window there and go ahead and play. There's always communication gaps at some point and some time between coaches and players. Communication gap in the playoffs. Come on, let's play.
Right, Jason knows what his role is. Bobby Jackson's been getting most of the fourth quarter minutes. Say, I don't like it, my role, and I want to play with more freedom. Every coach would understand that, but don't say that you don't have communication.
Anytime a coach asks you to do something that you don't like, there's a communication gap.
Christie for 3 over Ellie. And a rebound by Marion. King shooting about 50%. Phoenix shooting 30%. With Robinson feeding Kidd, who has been shooting more and playing much more selfishly in terms of shooting the ball. But that time Robinson knocks one down.
I like him better when he's doing what he just did. Penetrating, pulling the defense a little bit, and passing it over to a guy like Robinson, getting him an easy shot.
Williams launching it through. Sakalitis is there with the rebound. Kidd again racing the other way, even though Divac is on him, launches, and a rebound by Christie.
Well, you know, Jason Kidd has gotten so much better as he's matured of understanding when to run and when to run the half-court offense. He's so much better in the half-court offense than he was a few years ago, but he's always going to be able to run.
Weber is double. Oh, he's trying to go in, and John, that's what you were calling for.
Well, that's the ball I'm looking for. He's got to go inside and create a lot of energy under there, get people in foul trouble, and make power moves. That butterfly stuff and fadeaway jump shots, he can do that, but that's not what his team needs.
Every starter on the Kings with 2. Williams has 5. Robinson contorts up a shot, and Divac with another rebound. He's got 3. Williams again slashing inside with a back kick.
Nobody happier in the building right now than Rick Adelman to see Jason Williams go into the paint and get the defense and stop and be patient around the basket.
Foul called on Christie. Look at Weber come out of this straitjacket and score.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Kevin. He fought hard to get the basketball. He gave good ball fakes, and he went up strong.
But Jason...
No diversions, no distractions, to be together on the same page, not the front page. Jason Williams had a talk with Adelman. They got together. They then went in and talked to the rest of the team. Jason also apologized for that last-second shot he took in Game 1, but defended himself by saying he was slipping. He just wanted to make sure the shot went up. The rest of the team got together and said, Jason, we need you. Let's get together. So this may not be a coincidental. He's off to a good start. Kevin?
3 of 5. Thank you, Craig. Inside, Weber gets the loose ball. 4.5 to play here in the first quarter. With the Sacramento Kings on top by 2. They're on a 9-3 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Each team is led by as many as 4.
And it didn't take Phoenix to get Rodney Rogers in the game, and he will Game 1.
Rodney Rogers is in, but Weber again, John, scoring down low.
Well, he has a smile on my face, really, because now he's playing the post. He caught the ball. He shot that jump hook that he said he was having trouble. You throw him enough passes, and it's amazing how a guy gets healed quickly.
Kidd with the miss. Williams will race it the other way. And Kidd is there along with Ellie to stop him. Kind of defender, Danny, is Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd is a great defender. He can defend 1s, 2s, 3s. When Jason wants to make stops, he's as good as there is.
Divac tried to go up. Rogers had a hand on it, but it's going to be off of Phoenix, and Sacramento will get the ball.
Right here, you can see they're overloading the corner, trying to get the ball. Phoenix likes to front the post, but having that overload makes it difficult for them to front. Chris Webber, when he catches it down there, like you said, Coach, he's very difficult to guard.
Here comes Kidd going the other way against Williams. Tony Delk is in. He tried to tap in the miss, and a foul is called on Sacramento.
Well, the thing that was good about that,
I agree with that. Plus, he's an exciting player. He can shoot the basketball very well. He can handle the ball. He just needs to learn to play within the system and all that. But very special talent.
and one of the most difficult decisions a coach has to make, Danny, as you know, is to have a talented kid that has special talents. And where do you stop him? Where do you let him go? And a lot of it has to do with the time and the score of the ball game, and that's what Jason has to realize.
Jason Kidd from Oakland, California, about a 2-hour drive from here. He took his team to a state championship in this building as a senior back in the early 90s. Before going to play at Cal for a couple years, Tom Gugliotta has come in the game for the first time for the Suns. Joining Delk, Rogers, Kidd, and a steal right there by Sean Marion, who takes it the other way with great speed and finds Delk. Divac the hustle. Williams the other way. Blowing by Kidd, taking it up and in for two. Christie may have pumped it, but I think the ball was in already.
But also, that was caused by Jason Williams pushing the ball. Lonnie Test tipped one in, and now Christie tips one in, solely because of the fact that Jason pushed the pace of the game, got down quickly before the Suns were able to get in position to box out.
Williams picks up the foul for the Kings.
Well, right here, he runs by Jason Kidd, and that's saying a lot right there. But he didn't finish. Doug Christie following the break again.
And a timeout.
Not sure he's ready to beat Milwaukee. They're a very good team.
The Kings lead by 5 and stays right there. Sacramento has turned the ball over 7 times to no turnovers for the Phoenix Suns so far. Jason Williams there on the right. Roddy Divac on the left. Williams so far has put in 7 points.
And so many of Sacramento's turnovers are unforced. They're just silly turnovers. And, you know, that's got to be driving Rick Adelman crazy. But, you know, he wants to play up-tempo and he wants to play a more crazy style.
Bobby Jackson is in. Christie is in. Scott Poward has come in for the first time to join Webber and Stojakovic.
Well, Jason Williams had a tremendous impact on the first areas of this game. Now, it'll be interesting to see whether Jackson can maintain that.
Bobby Jackson loves to play defense, and to get an offensive rebound right there as he searches inside for Webber, jousting with Gugliotta, and from outside, Webber hits.
Well, that's not bad. He shoots a little fadeaway jump shot. I still would like to see him go to the basket, but he mixed up is what he's doing. He went to the basket twice with power moves, and now he shoots the little medium-range jumper.
Well, when Webber scored 41 against Suns early in the year, most of them were from the 15-foot range. They pushed the pick-and-roll baseline and left him open from the jump shot, and he got very hot from there.
Tony Delk for 2, who was a hero last year late in the season for the Sacramento Kings.
Great playoffs last year and had 53 in this building earlier in this year in a tough double overtime loss.
Then signs as a free agent with Phoenix. Here's Stojakovic. It's Webber again from outside. Rebound, Stojakovic bumping inside into Sean Marion with a Phoenix foul. Delk picks up the foul for the Suns.
Well, right here, they're trying to keep Stojakovic from going to baseline. They're fronting the low post and pushing baseline. Gugliotta does a great job. One of the best team defenders in the entire league.
Gugliotta made a great move on that play, didn't he? He went over, he returned back to his man. He actually stopped the basket that time. Those are things that go unnoticed sometimes. The guy that's giving support. Usually you have that big guy in the back as a shot blocker, but the floor defense is just as important.
Well, Googs is their second best defensive rebounder, and he's their best overall team defender. He's just not great one-on-one against Webber as Cliff Robinson would be.
The only negative for Sacramento right there, the turnover story. Here comes Sean Marion, who played only 1 year at UNLV. Here's Kidd on top for 3, and he gets it. And that brings the Suns to within 3 after the Kings had their biggest lead tonight of 6.
You can see Stojakovic isolated against Marion, knowing that Marion wants to go to his left, forcing Sean Marion to go to his right.
Christie and Kidd. What a shot by Christie! And a foul called on Jason Kidd.
Well, Jason's trying to figure out what he did right here. He gets him stopped, does a great job of containing him. Jason stays down, doesn't do anything, just stands straight up. Christie initiates all the contact. Good veteran play by
Clinical foul was just assessed on Scott Skiles, the coach, at the other end of the floor.
Well, Scott has been up off the bench 4 or 5 times, not happy with the officiating so far. I don't know what he said right there, but I don't blame him for complaining. Jason, your star, you don't want him to get a tee and start complaining, so Scott defended Jason on a poor call.
The kid only has 1 foul on him tonight. Sacramento had the best record in the history of their franchise this year, 55 wins, which was number 4 in the NBA. And a reason why was their home court, 33-8 in the regular year. Right now, they've got their biggest lead. Robinson on bounds into a meat cutter, and a foul is assessed inside. Pollard was reaching, and Scott Pollard out of Kansas picks up his first.
Well, they saw Stojakovic guarding Cliff Robinson, saw the mismatch, but here comes the double team down there, and they just let Cliff split it. Everybody knows in the league that Cliff Robinson likes to go for the jump hook with his right hand in the middle of the paint.
Robinson's got 7, now 8.
And you look at the Phoenix Suns out there, they're playing with 3 forwards out there, and they get a large point production out of those 3 forwards. They have to be aggressive because they really have no substantial post-up guy out there to create an impact. But those 3 guys are capable of going to the basket, and particularly Rogers is a good post-up player.
And defensively, one of the things they did over the weekend in Game 1 is they kept Divac from going deep and getting position.
Right, and they do a good job of fronting the post. You see right here, Robinson doing a good job of denying Webber the basketball. But 2 of those guys have to have big games, in my opinion. And it doesn't matter which 2 of them. Last game it was Rogers and Robinson that played well.
Rodney just picked up his first, last season's 6th Man Award winner in the NBA. Which sends Stojakovic to the free throw line once again. Rogers has the 1. Stojakovic tonight has put in 4. Now his 5th point and a perfect 3 of 3 from the free throw line.
Well, when you're not shooting the ball well, you got to get to the free throw line. Stojakovic is doing a good job. He's staying active. He's getting on the offensive board. He's taking it to the hole. But in their matchups with Phoenix, Stojakovic should be guarding Gugliotta. He's the least of the post-up players. And they got Webber guarding him, and Stojakovic can't guard Cliff one-on-one. They got a double team.
Good pass by Robinson looking for Gugliotta. By the way, Sacramento is 7, making 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Webber with the steal and the drive.
Well, we know one thing, that Webber's ankle's not hurting that bad because he outran Jason Kidd and Rodney Rogers down there going to the basket.
Well, that's that offensive cure again. Anytime a guy sees a goal, or anytime he receives a pass out there, he tends to feel a little bit better, Daniel.
Well, I got a kick out of Sager's comments when he said, well, Vlade, he saw him running back on defense a little faster than him. Well, Vlade can't run that fast. I know that.
First quarter is winding down. Jason Kidd will take on Doug Christie. Kings with a nice 8-2 run. Pollard with a little defense. And Kidd flips it to Delk. A great fake. A 2-point shot. Running out. Robinson can't get it to go as the buzzer sounds. Ending the first quarter. And the Kings got an initial light from Jason Williams with 7 points. In a variety of ways, including a 3. The Kings shoot 52% and take a 31-22 lead to the second. Only 7 points at one time in Game 1. Already have a 9-point lead here in Game 2. And the playmakers in the first round, the usual suspects, Stockton Iverson and Travis Best of Indiana. But don't forget about the 14 assists by Jason Kidd in Game 1. Tomorrow on TNT, Toronto and the Knicks and this crew will be in Los Angeles taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Will be the Lakers, the defending NBA champions. Great to have you with us tonight. We begin the second quarter. Sacramento on top 31-22 as Pollard watches Kidd.
And you see they're switching the pick and roll. They don't want to let Rodney Rogers just pop wide open for shots like they did last game.
Rogers for 3, arching high, rebound by Kidd. That Goodell. Also out there, Gugliotta and Clifford Robinson for the Phoenix Suns, who are shooting below 30% out of the first quarter.
And all 5 guys from Phoenix are out on the perimeter. They have a lack of postmen, but they have 4 guys on the floor that are very good at shooting the outside shot if Jason Kidd is able to get through and kick it out to him.
2 consecutive missed 3-point shots by Rodney Rogers. Christie the other way.
If they get enough of those shots, they'll knock them down, though. But you can see a mismatch of the switching of the pick and roll is going to keep working, but that's one adjustment Sacramento's made, is switch the pick and rolls.
Great pass by Christie. Weber couldn't convert. We're a minute into the second quarter here in game 2.
Well, Chris didn't need a reverse dunk at that time. That's what drives the coach crazy. He needed to just go in and put the ball in the basket.
Finally, Rogers scores.
Well, that ball actually slipped out of his hand. You know, he got robbed a couple of times on those in-and-out three-pointers, but good post-up right there. Rodney is the best post-up player they have on their team.
Kings with Christie, Pollard, Stojakovic, Jackson, and Weber. Shot clock at 9. Stojakovic with a rebound by the 6'4" kid, one of the great rebounding guards in the NBA.
Maybe the best rebounding guard in the NBA, but great defense by Gugliotta. Stopping Stojakovic.
Delp, head over heels. There's Hawkins inside and a Sacramento foul. John, how do you like Rogers?
Well, I love a person like Divac, even though there's a size mismatch between the two.
He outscored by himself the entire Sacramento bench in game 1. Berkeley will come in and take the place of Stojakovic.
Now, the other thing Rodney can do so good is he can pass out of the post when teams double teaming. He's got that good left-handed passing, like a quarterback throwing the ball. He can pick defenses apart.
Kings lead in rebounding, +6. He's shooting 47%. Here comes Bobby Jackson, and the bench points right there. Turkoglu feeds Jackson, who in turn feeds Weber, trying to stake his claim against Robinson. Rogers comes and swats it away. And Weber hit the deck hard.
A good spin move right there. You see Cliff Robinson doing everything he can to keep Weber from getting to the middle for his jump hook. See, he won't let him get middle. So Weber takes some spins, but Rodney Rogers comes over right there. He got smashed by Robinson and Rodney Rogers. This is playoff basketball.
Well, and that's one of the reasons a guy becomes a butterfly a lot in the game. When you become a bull, you're going to take the hit from guys like Rodney Rogers.
Scott Pollard puts it in.
Well, Scott Pollard is a guy that doesn't need to be reminded. He plays physical all the time, every day in practice and every game throughout the course of the season.
Jason Kidd with 4, a Gugliotta screen. Rebound front court, claimed inside by Pollard. Triggers it off to the fleet-footed Bobby Jackson. Weber again. Gugliotta defending. Doubled by Kidd. Play by Chris Weber.
See, but I like that because Chris Weber the last time paid a price for going to the basket. I wanted to see whether he was then become a jump shooter. The next one he got, he was right back at the basket again, and that's a great sign.
But Weber's got to understand that when he puts it on the floor, like the second dribble, the Suns look like they're flooding him, and they're going to get that ball every now and then if he keeps taking too many dribbles going to the basket.
Second Phoenix turnover. The Suns only shooting 28%. Christie at the other end. Pollard. Trying to pry his way inside. Rebound by Turkoglu. Tagged by Gugliotta. Weber over Rogers.
Well, here you see Pollard coming down the court in transition. You look at him, he's Robinson. He just gets Robinson out of the way into the basket. Robinson doesn't make an effort to box him out. Pollard, that's his game, hanging around the basket. And Weber right here puts it on the floor. Here comes the 3 defensive players at him. Beautiful touch. Taking it inside, taking advantage of it.
Guys feed off of me, and that's what Scott like me to do when I come off the bench is, if Cliff's not going good, or maybe Jake or somebody, I can come in and maybe so for one of those guys and make something happen, and they'll see it, and they come back in and they just keep playing from there.
All of a sudden, Rodney Rogers in that last month of the season, Danny, was sensational and was part of that great Phoenix Suns bench.
Well, Rodney just came into training camp a little bit out of shape, but he's been playing fantastic. He's so versatile. He's the toughest guy in the post. He's one of their best three-point shooters, although he struggled this year. He made a big three-pointer in the game 1.
Mario Elliott is back in the game. Rogers tries to take it down the baseline, then he rams into Pollard, who picks up the foul. That's the second on Pollard. fast break points in game.
It is like a one-man fast break. He gets the ball and puts so much pressure on the defense by pushing it. If you don't get back, he will get somebody in the easy basket.
Suns have Rogers. Sakalidis is back in. Sean Marion has come back in, as has Mario Ellie, joining Jason Kidd. And the Sacramento Kings with Jackson. Williams still on the bench, although he began the game with 7 points and was a firecracker for the Kings. Weber, Stojakovic, Christie, Pollard.
And Rodney Rogers hurt his ankle a little bit on that last drive. Stepped on a foot and kind of tweaked it. We'll see how he reacts.
Jackson.
Bobby Jackson driving Jason Kidd crazy down there, just being a little pass, putting full court pressure. This is one element that he does that Jason Williams doesn't do, is the full court pressure defense. You want to try to wear Jason Kidd out if you can, because he has such an offensive responsibility for Phoenix.
Well, particularly when you're being passed, Turkovich is passing the ball inside to you. You know, that's a difficult thing.
Great defense by Pollard. Here comes Weber. Outside, Jackson. Drives by Marion, feeds to Christie. Shot clock, plenty of time as Ellie defends Christie. And Marion gobbles up the rebound. Suns 26% shooting from the field with Rodney Rogers for 2. Rebound by Turkoglu just in the game.
Well, like we said before, you know, those Suns have got to make those outside shots, those medium-range jumpers that they're so good at.
Jackson saves it. So does Weber. Sakalidis knocks it away. Rogers ends up with it. Over to Marion. Tries inside. Can't find it with the Sacramento foul. That's on Turkoglu. He's got his first.
Damaging injury. You got to get caught up in the playoff spirit. You got to get caught up in what's at stake here and rise above injuries at this point.
Marion has 4. Robinson leads the Suns in scoring with 9. 12. The leading scorer in the game, Chris Weber. And that's a Sacramento turnover.
Well, it's a turnover because Rodney Rogers pushed him backcourt. You know, he jumped over and made contact with him.
But I like the energy of Rogers anyway. You know, coming up and trapping the guard. Put some thought. Don't just let him dribble the ball and get it into their offense. Rodney's man was lagging back up the court slowly, and Rodney took advantage of it.
I love his strength, too. He threw that guy backcourt.
Divac will check in. Weber remains in the game. Pollard will leave. And now Phoenix has gone 1 of their last 9 in this second quarter.
You'll notice that Chris Weber probably will become more of a jump shooter because Rodney Rogers is guarding in there, and his strength will stop him from just overpowering.
Bobby Jackson laces another 3, the second tonight for the Kings, off the bench with 5.
And 2 great assists by Turkoglu. Penetrate right there, didn't force the issue. Defense collapsed on him, found the open 3-point shooter.
Marion slashing inside, getting his own miss and putting it up and in.
Well, that's just pure quickness. I mean, he got almost 3 shots out of that. He shot the ball, he went in from the outside, got it, put it up, and went after it again. This kid's got desire and quickness and ability.
Halfway through the second quarter, Christie wheels and pushes to Divac inside with a foul.
Well, Sacramento's doing a good job. When they penetrate, they know that the weak side defense of Phoenix is excellent, and they're coming to collapse at the basket. But they're doing a great job of finding the open man off their penetration.
5-4, 85-81.
And you can see some of the scoring. Camby had the 18 rebounds. Game 2 tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, and the 4 of us with Craig Sager will be in Los Angeles for Game 2 of the Lakers in Portland. The winner of this Phoenix Kings series will play the winner of the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame coach John Thompson, NBA champion Danny Ainge, and Emmy Award-winning reporter Craig Sager, along with our great TNT crew here in Sacramento. A look at Vlade Divac, who will be at the free throw line and in search of his first shot from the stripe. He's got 2 points from the field. As they brought Stojakovic back in the game to join Turkoglu. Bobby Jackson remains in the game. Then they got Chris Weber, guys. Where's Jason Williams, who came out so red hot to begin the game for the Kings tonight?
Well,
Go ahead.
He set the tone for this game for him. It's a difficult thing in particularly, but I love the way he's smiling now. He looks like he's in the game. But it's got to be tough on him because he started all of this. He came out, set the tone. I respect Rick because then he went with Jackson. Jackson did his job. This has got to be a team effort now.
Vinny Del Negro, who did not play in Game 1, is in for the first time with the Phoenix Suns with Sakalidis, Marion, Ellie, and Rogers. Sacramento, by the way, 10 of 10 from the free throw line tonight.
Jackson is putting very good ball pressure on Del Negro out there right now.
Sean Marion knocks in another, and Marion now has 8 points. The Suns are still, Danny, shooting below 30% at 28.8.
Well, that was a breakdown on Sacramento's defense right there. Sean Marion loves that one dribble jumper going to his left. They do a good job when they can set their defense.
Stevens floats it in nicely to Stojakovic.
Oh, that was a beautiful pass by Vlade. A lot of times when a cutter comes through, the defense has a tendency to relax once he passes the postman. Vlade's experience knows that, and he looks behind him and just drops it over.
Vinny Del Negro missing the first and a whistle blown inside, and it's on the Phoenix Suns. Sakalidis, or is it Del Negro?
This is an example of what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful cut. Vlade turns around, pivots, throws the ball in. Marion relaxed just a little bit, but that's Vlade's experience and a great pass.
Del Negro picked up his first under 5 to play in the first half. Divac works on Sakalidis. Vlade Divac in game 1 only had 3 points.
Well, you know, Vlade didn't do good. Shot 3 for 11 in game 1, and they need more production out of him. But he's a guy that will take second fiddle. If everyone else gets going offensively, they don't need Vlade. But in game 1, they definitely needed him.
And he mixes his stuff up so well. The first time he threw a pass, the second time, and the third time he makes a cut and goes in and makes a layup.
8 points for Divac, 6 in the quarter. And Sacramento has their biggest lead tonight of 18. Del Negro. Jackson with the rebound.
Well, that's why Jason Williams isn't back in the game. When they brought Del Negro in the game, Bobby Jackson much better at applying pressure.
Oh, Bobby Jackson. Exploding for 7 points in the quarter.
And Scott Skiles didn't even come up off the bench the last year. He's disgusted that they're giving up so many easy baskets. 3 lay-ins in a row. That's not the Phoenix defense.
Sean Marion on the Sakalidis screen. Divac with the rebound. He's got 4. Weber's got 12. Stojakovic. With his own miss, takes it inside to the hole.
And that was great passing on Chris Webber's part, but also that was great concentration and being able to continue to make the touch. You look at a guy like Divac, a guy like Webber, they're so dangerous because not only can they post, they can hit cutters so well.
Sacramento is on a 15-4 run.
Well, Phoenix has done a great job against Sacramento the last 2 times, as we said, holding them to 86 and 83. That's what Scott Skiles is mad about right now.
Rogers picks up the foul. His second.
I'll tell you another guy that's made a difference so far in this game is Turkoglu. He's come in and given him energy. He's made 2 great assists in the transition.
When the Kings have movement, they're such great passers that they're effective. When they run, they're very effective. Being able to pass lends itself to movement and to cutting because you're rewarded for doing it.
Weber with 12. Picked up by Robinson. Flips it over to Stojakovic. And the rebound by Jason Kidd.
And that's just a wasted possession by Sacramento.
Turkoglu. Weber held by Robinson. One of the problems, Danny, with the Phoenix Suns is they've got a 2-guard who really doesn't score and a center who's a rookie and doesn't score.
Absolutely, and that's why their 3-forward lineup has been better for them all year. When they put Sakalidis out there, he defends.
Girl, I don't
Το show του NBA αποκλειστικά στο Supersport.
That was some kind of game last night, wasn't it?
Well, Polonese, I mean, they shot free throws the whole game, but Polonese was having a good game last night. He scored 9 points. That's more than he's had in the shoot-around all year.
Don't say shoot with the sheriff.
Well, and I like the way he enforces law and order out there.
Yeah.
Well, they took his badge away from him and sent him to the locker room.
Weber missing a free throw. That's the first miss by the Kings tonight from the stripe. And the offense, a pretty significant difference tonight from this past weekend. Game 1.
Well, you think about how Phoenix started this game. They started the quick tempo and getting up and down the floor. Now you threw the Kings in the briar patch because they're in this atmosphere and the way they love to play. Now they're taking over the tempo, and their fast break and their quickness is having an effect on right now on Phoenix.
Suns shooting 25%. And they get one to roll right there. They had missed their last 5 until that make. That ends a field goal drought of almost 3.5 minutes for Phoenix.
Well, they have to be aggressive. Phoenix has to be aggressive defensively. Get down, get some fast break baskets, or get some more post-up baskets like they just got from Robinson, because they've got to make up this deficit. And they're not going to do it just launching up jump shots.
Divac taking it across the lane and foul on the play by the interior that Phoenix.
Robinson, the only bright spot offensively.
Gugliotta picks up the foul. Divac at the free throw line. Joe, one of the great things about Divac's game that you talked about before, his passing. The passing of the big men with Weber, Divac, and Stojakovic very much a part of the Kings' success.
Well, it definitely is, because he's probably one of their most willing post-up players. He can pass off of a cutter. He can step outside and pass facing the basket. Also, he's been very effective inside in establishing some form of a layup or a high percentage game.
The big men tonight have 5 assists on that front line for Sacramento. His kid tries to take it inside. Robinson set a screen. They rotate from Ellie to Marion, who takes it in with authority.
But that's what they've got to do. They've got to get inside, regardless of how well they shoot the ball outside. Jason Kidd has got to penetrate. They've got to get the ball inside. The difficulty is that Phoenix doesn't have an established post-up player. Probably Rodney Rogers is the best one when he's sitting on the bench.
Stojakovic knocks down a 3. That is the 3rd tonight offered by the Kings. Their lead 61-38.
Oh, we talked about that small forward matchup in the open. You know, Stojakovic has come off. He's been aggressive. He's trying to score in a lot of different ways. But Sean Marion continues to go left and having success as well.
Mario Ellie. Knocked away by Ellie. Stojakovic had a hand on it. Marion reels it in the corner.
And great effort by Mario Ellie. He just out-hustled that ball from Stojakovic. Both guys wanted it, and Mario won the battle.
Danny, because Mario shot it from the corner himself, and nobody else got back. He was the one who took the shot from the corner, then ran back and stopped the break.
Jackson takes it in. 9 points in the second quarter by Jackson.
Phoenix has got to step up their defense. Anytime the Kings have this kind of lead in their home court, all their shots are going to go in. Everybody's going to be confident. Everybody's going to be loose. The only way to stop that is with good defense.
Gugliotta from outside, but defense has been Phoenix's real significant point late in the season.
Well, the bench, Bobby Jackson, Turkoglu have done a great job of stepping up. You know, we talked about Jason Williams in the first quarter. Bobby Jackson has been equally effective. Plus, he's helped on the defensive end here in the second quarter.
Game clock and shot clock basically the same. As Weber to Divac for 3.
Well, that's a shot the Phoenix would love to see. They'd love to see Divac stepping out and Weber stepping out, launching up jump shots now. They need to capitalize on their lead and go inside and really create some problems posting up.
Kidd at the buzzer. Danny, does Phoenix have any kind of chance in the second half?
Yeah, absolutely they do. Phoenix can get going. They got a lot of guys that can shoot. Rogers, Robinson, Jason Kidd. But they got to get some stops and hope that Sacramento comes out a little flat.
Divac's playing great. 8 in the quarter, 10 for the game. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Chris, you told us before the game it was important you guys get off to a better start and play better in game 1. Why the great start?
I don't know, but anybody who knows us know that, you know, we don't give up. We got some dogs on this team, and whether we're down 1-0 in the series or 24 points in the game, we're going to fight to come back. So just hopefully we can keep this lead and keep playing hard.
Jason Williams really gave you guys a lift. Came out 7 points. Why was he playing so confidently?
Well, I think Jason's just a tough kid, and you know, we lost the other day, and everybody's kind of ticked off. So we're just playing hard, and hopefully we can get the win tonight.
Spending a lot of time in the paint tonight. Your ankle loose? Feel pretty good?
Yeah, it's all in the mind, so I feel great. It's all gravy. So hopefully I can keep it loose and keep playing well, and hopefully we can get the win.
And keep smiling afterwards. Let's go back to Kevin.
Weber with 12. The highest scoring team in the NBA, the Sacramento Kings, dropping 63 on the first half on the Phoenix Suns. Ernie Johnson, it's been a race here in Sacramento as we send it to you down in Atlanta.
Το σκληρή κόντρα της Ανατολής έρχεται στο Super Sport τα ξημερώματα του Σαββάτου. Ο τρίτος αγώνας των σκληρών της Ανατολικής Περιφέρειας ανεβάζει την αδρεναλίνη στα ύψη. Οι Charlotte Hornets υποδέχονται τους Miami Heat σε ένα παιχνίδι για πολύ δυνατούς. Βλέπετε NBA ζωντανά και αποκλειστικά στο Super Sport.
Πρώτη φορά νιώθεις τόσο μέσα στο παιχνίδι. Supersport.gr. Κάνε παιχνίδι.
At 8 on TNT.
Get caught up with Law and Order coming June 5th to TNT. There has been law and there has been order in Jason Williams' game tonight.
Well, they've got to get a lot of defense in this game, and the other Phoenix Suns, too. If you want to catch up, you've got to catch up with your defense. Get out, get some easy baskets, but you definitely have to stop this Kings team. You can't keep just trading baskets and giving them easy layup baskets.
Mario Ellie the miss. Gugliotta gets the rebound. Tony Delk in the corner. 29% shooting tonight for the Suns. Sacramento has hit their last 6 from the field and shooting 58% for the game.
Phoenix is starting with the 3-guard lineup. They're going to try to take advantage of Stojakovic. I think that plays into Phoenix's hands, though. Stojakovic knocks down that, but their offense became stagnant. But Scott Skiles was trying to pick up tempo with 3 guards out there.
Stojakovic now at 19, and 6 have come in this third quarter. Rogers with the drive. Gugliotta is there to snare the rebound. Delk, Kidd, Ellie. Open for 3. As he's been Danny most of the night. Open.
Phoenix has had some open shots. They just haven't knocked down their open shots. They have no chance.
Nice knock away inside by the Suns and Mario Ellie. Gugliotta's trapped. Here comes Kidd to Ellie. Knocked away by Weber. Retrieved by Stojakovic. A 3-on-1 to Weber. Stojakovic inside. And a foul.
Jason Kidd has had great success defending Stojakovic in the past. He's done a good job. But right here, they're patient. They're giving Stojakovic a lot of time. He steps out. Again, forces him to shoot a 20-foot fadeaway shot. But that's kind of Stojakovic's game. He loves to shoot the jumpers.
Gugliotta picked up his 3rd personal foul for the Phoenix Suns. And Stojakovic hits it at the line. Tonight from the free throw line, the Kings, 17 of 19. Stojakovic a perfect 7 of 7.
And everybody said they couldn't win if Stojakovic didn't give him any offense. Phoenix, that's been the focus of trying to stop him. But 20 points, you got to give him a lot of credit, bouncing back and being very active and scoring in a lot of different ways.
Johnny's done it all tonight.
Well, he's done it all with this lead. I want to see him do it when he's in a tight ball game.
But you got to do it to get a lead at some time.
If you're responsible for the lead, I'm not giving him as much credit as you guys are giving him. Sure, that basket gets a lot wider when you get this kind of lead. When he got in a tight ball game the other day, I didn't see this happening.
Well, I didn't see it happen with anybody on their team.
Christie gets a Weber screen, and Weber is open with Ellie now converging. Outside, there's the miss.
Yeah, and that's an example. You want to show, if you're the Kings right now, too, you want to get the tough inside shot, cause them to foul you, or the layups that they've been getting. You got to be careful about taking deep, quick shots.
Jason Kidd has gone 2 of 12. Williams for 3. Jason Williams has been a flamethrower tonight. Gugliotta. And Kidd gets it back. Gugliotta inside, trying to pierce the defense and draws a foul of the Sacramento interior. Vlade Divac was there. By the way, if you're wondering if Phoenix is a good three-point shooting team, they're not. They're number 28 in the NBA coming in.
Yeah, they're the worst team in the playoffs in shooting three, which is a little bit surprising. You think that this team would be a better shooting team with all the guys they have out there. Cliff Robinson was in the top 10. Has been in the top 10 a few times in his career. Rodney Rogers last year. Jason Kidd is always in the mid-30s. I'm surprised they're not even over 30% on the year, or barely over 30.
Phoenix three-point shooting 3 of 14 as we send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, I don't know what our ratings will be tonight on TNT, Kevin, but I can tell you one thing. The ratings on TV B92 and Belgrade will make this the #1 watch show in Yugoslavia. The TV cameras are here. This game is being televised back to Belgrade. They have a reporter named Ilija Kovacevic, and he is here to follow Vlade Divac, the #1 sportsman in Yugoslavian history. His wedding was televised nationally, and they are here to chronicle every moment that Vlade Divac does throughout the playoffs. And obviously they have to be happy with Vlade and his fellow countryman, Peja Stojakovic, tonight, as they lead 85-56 in the third quarter.
I'm going to say it. I don't care who hears it. I love Craig Sager. I love that man. I love the way he dances. I love the way he dresses. I love the way he broadcasts. He is my guy.
I could go with everything except the dressing part.
Oh, okay. I love that guy. Nothing.
Στις 12 Μαΐου, για πρώτη φορά στη ζωή σου, έχεις τη δυνατότητα όχι απλά να δεις, αλλά να παίξεις σε τελικό κυπέλλο Ελλάδος. Στον πρώτο interactive τελικό που θα μεταδώσει ζωντανά το Super Sport με την εμπλουτισμένη εκδοχή του Super Sport Extra, ειδικά για την κάλυψη του μεγάλου τελικού. Με το απλό πάτημα ενός κουμπιού, οι συνδρομητές της Nova θα μπορούν ανά πάσα στιγμή να μεταφερθούν από το Super Sport που θα μεταδίδει το ζωντανό αγώνα στο Super Sport Extra. Στην οθόνη σας θα εμφανιστεί ένα μοσαϊκό από διαφορετικές εικόνες. Κάθε εικόνα είναι και μια διαφορετική επιλογή. Στο μεγαλύτερο μέρος της οθόνης θα παρακολουθείτε το ζωντανό αγώνα χωρίς να χάνετε δευτερόλεπτο από τον τελικό. Επιλέγοντας την κάμερα περιοχής, μπορείτε να απολαύσετε το τελικό από μια διαφορετική οπτική θέση, πίσω από τις μεγάλες περιοχές των δύο αντιπάλων. Η κάμερα επανάληψης σας δίνει τη δυνατότητα να παρακολουθείτε τον αγώνα με 3 λεπτά καθυστέρηση για να ξαναδείτε άμεσα όλες τις φάσεις του παιχνιδιού, ενώ ανά πάσα στιγμή μπορείτε να ξαναδείτε τις καλύτερες στιγμές του αγώνα, τα γκολ και τις μεγάλες ευκαιρίες όσες φορές εσείς θέλετε. Οι εκπλήξεις του Super Sport Extra δεν σταματούν εδώ. Κάντε παιχνίδι και κερδίστε πλούσια δώρα στο quiz των ερωτήσεων. Συμπληρώστε τις γνώσεις σας με στατιστικά στοιχεία που ανανεώνονται συνέχεια κατά τη διάρκεια του παιχνιδιού. Και όλα αυτά πολύ απλά, με το πάτημα ενός κουμπιού. Στις 12 Μαΐου ο αληθινός πρωταγωνιστής του τελικού είσαι εσύ. Πατήστε OK και παίξτε στην τρίωρη ζωντανή και interactive φιέστα του τελικού κυπέλλου Ελλάδος. Ο πρώτος interactive τελικός είναι γεγονός. Στο Super Sport.
Αποκλειστικά στην Nova. Απολαύστε τον τελικό κυπέλλου Ελλάδος. παρέα με Ballantynes.
Even with Tracy McGrady putting in 35, dropping 20 consecutive points for Orlando in the first half. And Sam Cassell, Ray Allen, and the Bucks win it 103-96. That sets up now a Saturday game with number 2 Milwaukee and number 7 Orlando. Tomorrow night, it's New York, Toronto. Then we will be in Los Angeles for the Trailblazers against the world champion Los Angeles Lakers. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sager. As the Kings are going at it animal style tonight on the Phoenix Suns, Del Negro is in the game. Gugliotta, Rogers, Delk, and Elliot Perry coming in for the first time tonight for the Phoenix Suns.
Well, Scott Skiles has got a small, aggressive team out there. He's got to be a little furious with their transition defense and their half-court defense. But if they have any chance of getting back in this game, as I said earlier, they have to stop this team. They have to get out and get some easy baskets. They have to get motion at half-court and get some penetration and some foul.
Divac foul, that's number 3. 30 points has been the biggest deficit tonight for Scott Skiles. Remember now, the tables were turned earlier this season in Phoenix when the Kings were down by 28 and came back to beat the Suns. Rogers down the lane, Divac with the rebound.
When he got there, he had to make that basket. He did a great thing by penetrating.
Divac stumbles up with scratched in the eye.
He got hit in the eye last game.
Is it the same eye now?
I don't know. He'll be all right. He does a good job of milking those. He's just resting right now. He's going to be okay. But he does it. You never know when he's really hurt or not because he flops so much.
Well, I'm glad we're not being broadcast tonight in Yugoslavia because if the Belgradians heard you say that, they would be all over you right now. Divac is out. Pollard comes in. Christie, Stojakovic, Weber remains, and Williams has been great. 18 points for Williams. 20 for Stojakovic. Pollard, who had a great second quarter, misses. So does Weber, and Pollard puts it back in. Pollard's got 6.
Well, he gives them what they need. I mean, they're having fun now, faking passes over people's heads, throwing balls around people's back. But Pollard is just playing good, hard-nosed basketball, going in, following up. That's the thing that they have to be very careful of. The Kings can't get too loose and too careless.
Well, I think this game is over. I don't think the Suns have a chance to come back in this game. But I'll tell you what, I think Scott Skiles knows that. And he's going to let Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, Cliff Robinson watch this and suffer.
Well, and that's why they have to be careful. This game is really the playoffs and not little of this game. And that's the thing that you've got to watch out for with a team like the Kings. They love to get careless. They love upbeat and flamboyant. You're seeing a lot of globetrotter-like tricks going on out here now. This is the thing that will kill them in a tougher, more competitive game.
It may kill them, John, but it's fun to watch, huh?
It is very much fun to watch, especially if you're not the coach.
Stojakovic. What a shot! For Stojakovic, Sacramento by 30, equaling their biggest lead tonight. But none prettier than Stojakovic's fadeaway there. Gugliotta tries to do the same with the miss. Phoenix has now missed 8 of 9 in this quarter. An air ball by Jason Williams.
Well, this is a tough shot. I mean, great defense by Gugliotta. That's just a prayer. Fades away with the shot clock. He saw 2 seconds on it when it left his hand. Well, I agree with you, Coach. That's not a shot that you're looking for right now, but he is capable of making spectacular shots.
Very capable. And the shot that Jason Williams just threw up there is a terrible shot to take. Because you have this lead, you excuse it. But you pay for that when you get in a more competitive game in the playoffs.
Right, and I agree. And there's a pick and roll with Elliot Perry driving all the way to the basket. Same thing. These guys need work on defending the pick and roll.
Gugliotta tapped it in at the other end. Here's Pollard swinging it to Stojakovic. Into Weber. And out to Williams. Across the lane. Weber. One mesmerizing Sacramento play after another. Elliot Perry for the triple. Rogers tried to slam. Weber is there to vacuum in the rebound. Christie through traffic, and the feed to Pollard.
I can officially say, I think that it happened earlier in the game, but Phoenix has quit. They're not even making an attempt to get back.
That's a big statement to make. That is a big statement to make.
Well, we saw when Christie had the ball the time before, but right here, they're not making any effort to guard anybody. They're just standing around. That's ridiculous. Nobody's open. They're just looking for officials to give them help.
Christie picked up his third foul. Here comes Tony Delp at the free throw line. You know, the Sacramento team has done such a marvelous job over the last handful of years. Rick Adelman is the coach, and Jeff Petrie is the general manager, in picking up nice players along the way. The aforementioned talk of the trade, Williams into Toronto for Doug Christie, who checks out right now. But what about losing Delp, who they thought was almost untouchable and unlosable, and they get Bobby Jackson, and they just pick up right where they left off?
Well, Bobby Jackson's more what they needed. You know, Tony is a scorer, and that's what the Suns needed. But Bobby Jackson is more of a defensive player, and he's really become a pretty good shooter as well. He's not a liability on the offensive end, but he brings them some defensive intensity that they really lacked last year.
No, and this is the kind of game that they flourish in. I mean, they love to go up and down the court. They love a wide-open style game. Phoenix came out here playing like that in the beginning, set the tone for it on their court. They just picked it up and took it away.
A great pass by Weber. 10 points for Pollard, 6 rebounds. From this outside, the Pollard rebound number 7. Jackson with time before the end of the third.
And Jason Kidd's running the lane. He wants them to throw an alley-oop to him.
Jackson to Weber. Loose and out of bounds with no time left on the clock. The buzzer didn't sound, now it does. Jason Williams began the game in a flurry and begins the second half in an incredible style. 11 points in the quarter, 18 for the game. And that's why the Kings are rolling over Phoenix.
Ο χορός των τριάμβων συνεχίζεται και τους επόμενους μήνες στο Super Sport. Το Μάιο η ανάδειξη του πρωταθλητή σε Ελλάδα και Ευρώπη. Τα μεγάλα ντέρμπι της Α1 μπάσκετ. Τα συγκλονιστικά play-offs του NBA. Τον Ιούνιο το τουρνουά FIFA Cup με τη συμμετοχή των 2 κορυφαίων ομάδων του κόσμου. Τα κοντέρ πάνε στο Ράλι Ακρόπολης. Γνωρίστε τον πρωταθλητή της Α1 μπάσκετ. Τους νέους βασιλιάδες του NBA και τα πιο γρήγορα σερβί στον κόσμο. Και τον Ιούλιο, Κόπα Αμέρικα, παρέα με τους μάγους της μπάλας. Ακόμα περισσότεροι θρίαμβοι, ακόμα περισσότεροι πρωταθλητές στο Super Sport, το κανάλι των πρωταθλητών. Βλέπετε Super Sport.
Williams take. And Weber.
30 is the biggest lead tap. Sacramento Kings have led most of the game. They were down by 4 early on. They've led by as many as 32 tonight, rocking the Capitol and the Arco Arena, and lead now 95-63 at the end of 3. And here is tonight's Budget Rent-A-Car Fast Break. And they're all favoring Sacramento. Look at the shooting for the Phoenix Suns tonight, just 28%.
And the points in the paint, that's just dominance on the inside game. And that's what they need to do to beat Phoenix. Vlade, Pollard, and Weber, that's where they have an advantage.
Well, and Phoenix has got to uplift their spirit at this point in time. You know, they got a split in here. You can't be complacent with the split. How you execute and how you play, regardless of what the score is extremely important. Scott Skiles got to be furious about their defense because it's non-existent in transition or at half court. But right now, they've got to play some defense, get out, and at least feel halfway good about themselves.
Turkoglu is defended by Del Negro, and here comes Elliot Perry finding Vinny Del Negro at the other end. We're just underway here in the fourth quarter. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, and Craig Sager in Northern California with you tonight. Fifth day of the NBA playoffs. Tomorrow night we will be in Los Angeles for the Blazers and the defending champion Lakers. Gugliotta over Pollard. Rebound by Chris Webber. Any problems you see this game generating guys with the Kings, this kind of lead, this style?
A lot of problems, because the book on the Kings is being able to be under control in a tough game. These flamboyant things are great to do. They're putting balls behind people's backs. They're throwing it over their heads. They love this carefree attitude. That's fine when you have this kind of lead. But if you build those kind of habits, that's dangerous. And I'm certain that Adelman is aware of that.
Jackson and Williams in the same backcourt for the Kings. Tony Delk knocks down a 2.
One thing that I am impressed with the Kings, though, even though the score has been like this, they have competed at the defensive end. I think Bobby Jackson, Turkoglu now coming in the game, but Weber picking up in transition, and they're continuing to play hard, and that's a good sign.
Good screen by Weber. There goes Williams into Weber. And Delk comes out of the pack with it. The Kentucky star feeds to Elliot Perry.
And I know that Scott Skiles knows that his team has no chance here in this game, but, you know, both of these teams respond better. They both have a tough time with success. And I'm always going to bet on the team that the next game that lost the game before, because they both respond more when things aren't going well for them. They get a feeling a little bit too good about themselves.
Elliot Perry hits. That won't go. 54% shooting tonight for the Kings. 29% shooting for the Phoenix Suns. Turnovers have really not been a factor in the game. Rebounding, plus 10 for Sacramento. Again, the guy's had a couple stints standing with this Phoenix team.
Well, Elliot played with us when we went to the finals and played with Charles Barkley in the year back with the Suns, and he's just a crowd favorite, provides a lot of energy, and has really become a great shooter in this league.
And a lot of people, when you get in this position, you put your substitutes in, it has more meaning to them than it does to starters. Substitutes usually will not give up as quickly when you're in this kind of deficit. They'll come out, still try to impress the coach, and have a lot of energy out there.
Jason Williams will leave. John Barry has come in. Barry played 5 minutes, did not score in game 1. Weber's inside. Double team. Sakalidis leading it with Gugliotta. Didn't matter. He squeezes the trigger, and Weber finds his 16th point tonight. Delk again with the drive and the knock away by Pollard, and a Sacramento foul. That's good luck in Yugoslavia when you catch a bald guy in the head. It brings you good fortune. At least that's what they're hoping on the Kings side.
You see, he's washing it off, though. He poured water on top of that.
Yeah. Well, then that's what you do. Then you pour water on it, and then it's double good luck.
I think it was the shoes.
Those Terrell Brandon-looking shoes tonight. Del Negro trying to take it across the lane.
John Barry could be an important part of this team before the season's over.
Timeout taken, and a commanding 30-point lead for the Kings.
Η Μιλένα Αποστολάκη στο VIP. Η Υπουργός Ανάπτυξης μιλάει στο Γιώργο Παπαχρήστο για το ηλεκτρονικό εμπόριο, τους καταναλωτές και τις μεγάλες της αγάπες. Το μπάσκετ και την ΑΕΚ. VIP. Η άλλη πλευρά των ανθρώπων της πρώτης σελίδας.
Oscar Collection. Βραβευμένα τραγούδια και μουσικά θέματα σε ένα διπλό CD. Ανακαλύψτε τη μαγεία των Όσκαρ. The Oscar Collection. Μια διαχρονική συλλογή που έχει πάρει Όσκαρ. Σε όλα τα καταστήματα δίσκων ή με αντικαταβολή στο 6602 339.
Σαββατοκύριακο στο Super Sport.
Most of you have probably heard about the hostage situation at his home with his family. His mom and his two sisters ended in a good way for the family, but on his mind, and he said Game 2 will be a welcome addition to his daily routine. It's tomorrow night on TNT at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and then we will be in Los Angeles with the Portland Trail Blazers and the Los Angeles Lakers. Friday, in the most talked about series right now in the first round, Charlotte with a 2-game lead on Miami will be seen on TNT from the Hive in Charlotte. That'll be a beauty. Gugliotta. And rebound by Jackson. I don't know many guys, you two, that did not pick Miami to make it to the finals out of the East against the champion of the West.
But you have to give Charlotte credit. They weren't satisfied with just a split. They jumped on them the first game. They didn't come back complacent thinking that we would have gotten the split and we can go home and now just have the home court advantage. They came out the second night and jumped on them again, and they jumped on a great Miami team. And as you indicated, it's a tremendous surprise to everybody.
I think with the miss,
I think one thing that kept them going was just the fact that Mashburn and P.J. Brown, you know, they wanted to beat them so bad just because they were traded from Miami and had given a lot to Miami over the years.
Now we parry the miss. Tim Hardaway's injured body is hurting Miami now as Kirkaloo takes it inside. And he will not play anymore.
I'm not sure that's not a blessing for Miami, the way Baron Davis has been playing against him.
Why didn't Miami pick up another point guard down the stretch, Danny?
Well, they have Eddie House, who's played well for them off the bench, and Carter has played well for them last year in the playoffs and throughout this year. So I think they felt they were fine at that position.
Well, in the first of the season, regardless of his injury, Hardaway still played well. You know, you get misled by that, and then you come right at the end into a playoff situation, and then the guy can't be able to move as well against a guy as quick as Davis and as strong as Davis. Their backcourt, Charlotte's backcourt, is not only just quick, it's strong.
And I thought they'd be able to cover up for Hardaway's lack of defensive abilities against Baron Davis just with their size inside, with Brian Grant and Alonzo defending the basket. But, you know, Mashburn was a tough matchup for him, too. He's too big for Bruce Bowen and too quick for Anthony Mason.
Former King Del Negro, Benny Del Negro getting the basket there. Here's John Barron. Playing in the playoffs again as he has for Atlanta and Los Angeles. And now Sacramento for a second consecutive year. Jackson for three.
Bobby Jackson has sure found a home here. The crowd loves him. The coaching staff loves him. His teammates. He just plays with a lot of heart.
Delp throws by Turkaloo into Gugliotta. Rejected by Lawrence Thunderbird. Berry thought about three. Delp was there. Pollard to Turkaloo. 55% shooting for the Kings. Turkaloo inside to Pollard. Thunderbird aggressively claims it. Jackson for three again. He's got 14. Thunderbird with flashlights into Pollard. Left inside, Santiago Gugliotta were defending. Six and a half to play here in the fourth. The Kings are steamrolling the Phoenix Suns. Pollard will be at the free throw line. Pollard tonight, 10 points, 8 rebounds, but there's his first free throw attempt in this game, too, as the Kings look to tie the series at 1 game apiece. And now let's take a look at Wimbledon. The drama returns this June to TNT.
The drama of Wimbledon returns to TNT. Don't miss 2 weeks of daytime coverage of the best tennis in the world beginning June 25th.
It all comes back this June to TNT. Chris Webber, watching on the bench, 16 points, 9 rebounds. His night probably is through with Del Negro. Going against Turkoglu as Santiago's screen, and a Del Negro drive. And a Jackson rebound. Jackson, with his 14 points, a career playoff high. Turkoglu missed the tap-in. Turkoglu is 22. Stojakovic is 23. Weber is 28. They've got, John, such a great foundation if they can re-sign Weber this summer.
Well, that's a big if, too. You know, we started the season off with that debate. Chris said it became distracting. A lot of people here seem to be frustrated and wondering whether, by the way he was playing before, whether after the injury, whether he's going to stay here. But they had better focus on their play now. This game scares me. If I'm Adamman right now, if I'm Scott, after I've already gotten the split, the first thing I do is cut out 2 tapes, 2 pieces of the tape, and then clowning around and show it to my team.
Κάθε βράδυ από τις 8 στις 9.
Ταξίδι στα σπορ.
Στο ελληνικό ποδόσφαιρο.
Αλλά και στην Αγγλία, την Ισπανία, την Νότιο Αμερική.
Ταξίδι στο μπάσκετ. Στην Ελλάδα αλλά και το NBA.
Ταξίδι στην ενημέρωση. Με ρεπορτάζ και όλα τα τελευταία νέα.
Κάθε βράδυ στο Super Sport 2.
Ταξίδι στα σπορ.
Σε όλα τα σπορ.
Avant Premier από το Filmnet Cine Clubbing. Στις 29 Απριλίου, 15 λεπτά με τον Ρόμπερτ Ντε Νίρο. Αποκλειστικά για εσάς, τους συνδρομητές μας. Είστε καλεσμένοι στο Αθήνεον Νεσκαφέ στην Αθήνα και το Αθήνεον στη Θεσσαλονίκη. Τι θα μπορούσε να κάνει κανείς για να κερδίσει 15 λεπτά δημοσιότητας? Ο Ρόμπερτ Ντε Νίρο πρέπει να τα βρει με το συνεργάτη του Έντουαρντ Μπέρνς. Πρέπει να προλάβει το κακό. 15 λεπτά από το Filmnet Cine Clubbing. Τηλεφωνήστε τώρα στο 92 84 200.
30 λεπτά στη Θεσσαλονίκη. Κάθε μέρα ο παλμός της Βόρειας Ελλάδας χτυπά στο Super Sport 2. Όλα τα νέα όλων των ομάδων από όλα τα σπορ. Με αποκλειστικά θέματα και καλεσμένους στο στούντιο. 30 λεπτά στη Θεσσαλονίκη. Κάθε μέρα ζωντανά και αποκλειστικά στο Super Sport 2. Nova. Τα πάντα είναι στο χέρι σου.
Πρώτη φορά νιώθεις τόσο μέσα στο παιχνίδι. Supersport.gr. Κάνε παιχνίδι.
Το παγκόσμιο πρωτάθλημα ράλι. Αποκλειστικά στο Supersport.
The Lakers with a 10-2 run, and they lead 80-72. Critical time in the ball game for the Blazers. Fox with the steal. Here's Fox to the rim. Oh, what a play by Rick Fox! It is a huge game 2 tomorrow night in Los Angeles at the Staples Center. Rasheed Wallace with the good first game. Shaq was on fire, and Kobe Bryant adding his 28. All this will come after the Toronto Raptors and the New York Knicks. 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on TNT.
Well, I'm looking forward to that game. You know, the game one, Dale Davis was the guy that they brought in Portland to help defend against Shaq. He played 9 minutes and fouled out. So much for defending Shaq.
Nobody's going to defend Shaq if he gets his hand on it in the right place.
And Sabonis did a pretty good job, I thought. He's a guy that Shaq just can't push around and move. He had a tough time making shots against Sabonis.
When?
In game one. Shaq was 7 for 20.
Shaq didn't win the wrestling match. He just won the game.
No, I know it. I mean, but Sabonis, as much as anybody, can keep him from just bullying his way to the basket.
Elliot Perry was 7 all coming this fourth quarter.
Have you ever noticed how Danny calls when a big man has skills, bullying?
Perry for 3. Sacramento tonight has nailed 6 3-point shots.
Skill?
A lot of skill. And strength.
Barrett Martin is in for the Kings with Perry, Jackson, Thunderbird, Turkoglu, Gugliotta with Del Negro, Del, Elliot Perry, Daniel Santiago, and Tom Gugliotta puts it in. He's got 10. Greg, we've had a blowout tonight. Kings have led by as many as 34.
Well, I think it's a disturbing trend for Phoenix. This is the 3rd time in 5 years where they've opened up the playoffs on the road, picked up a win to take home court advantage, and then have gotten blown out in the second game. Last year in San Antonio, they won the first game. They came back and lost the second one by 15. But more disturbing, in 1997, they won game 1 in Seattle, then came back and lost game 2 by 44. What's it like for a coach to win the first game, take away home court advantage, and have his team get blown out? Well, Scott Skiles knows tonight, and maybe that coach in 1997, Mr. Danny Ainge, knows what's it like.
Yeah, we don't need to hear all that. Come on, Sagan. We don't need to report on 1997. Hey, listen, I played on teams where we blow our team out and got blown out the next game and lost the series, even with the Celtics against the Lakers, and the Lakers did the same thing against us in 1984. So, you know, that just happens to all teams. It's hard to go in and win against a good team. We were the number 8 seed in 97. Seattle was the number 1 seed. To get one win there was great. It gave us a chance to win the series.
And then to that point, that's why Charlotte's accomplishment, don't you think, against Miami was so great, is that they sustained their concentration. They got the home court advantage, but they went on to get the second game all the way.
There's a second on the shot clock. That's why Martin threw up that half-court prayer. Because the ball did not change hands. And here comes Del Negro. Reverse by Vinny Del Negro.
You know, we can talk all we want. I mean, I know Scott Skiles was not happy with Phoenix's effort, but Sacramento, you got to give them credit. They came out and played a fantastic game, and they have more talent than Phoenix. They have a great home court advantage, and they just played more desperate, and they had to win this game or their season was over.
Not happy. You said they quit earlier in the game.
I thought that the Suns quit, but they didn't quit until they were down 28 late in the 3rd quarter. I thought that they just weren't playing with any urgency at that point, but I think they came ready to play the game tonight. But Sacramento stole their heart from them. It wasn't like Phoenix came down and laid an egg.
But you know, Danny, the reality of it is, regardless of how Phoenix looks, they accomplished on this road trip what they need to accomplish. They got a split. They're going home now with the home court advantage. Scott Skiles now is going to feel angry about this performance and has a lot of fuel to motivate these guys with. So they came away from here with the split. Hopefully they would have played a lot better. They didn't play it. A coach will try to forget this, motivate his team for the next game.
Greg?
I'll tell you what, we always talk about Arco Arena. The Kings are known for having the loudest and most loyal fans in the NBA. Every game sold out this year, as usual. In fact, at one time, they sold out 497 consecutive games. People love to collect things around here, too. They love the teams. They love the players. They used to play here like Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
1989, they traded Joe Klein and Ed Pickney for a 2-time All-Star named Danny Ainge, who averaged 19 points a game. And there's your love, Danny, for picking on you for being the coach.
Where did they get that? Out of mothballs?
I don't know. I think there's a lot of people.
Those around.
I think there's a lot of people wearing those. I think you can get them for 25 cents leftovers.
You know, the interesting thing about this crowd, Cliff Robinson told me before the game that Scott Skiles pumped sound into their gym to try to acclimate the Phoenix team to this noise and this confusion that's going on here.
You know, I would rather win the first game as a coach and lose the second game because you have some fuel to build on. And like I said, you know, most teams and most players respond. Great players, great athletes respond a little bit to adversity and anger. And sometimes when teams start winning, they feel bad. So I think Phoenix is going to come out angry and hungry in Game 3. But if they had won Game 2 like this, they might not feel that way.
Well, Scott's got a lot of great tape to get angry about.
Well, we just saw Jason Kidd, 2 of 12 tonight shooting. He heard the Suns.
Ο πρωταθλητής κρίθηκε, αλλά η μάχη για τη σωτηρία φουντώνει. Μη χάσετε την Κυριακή σε παράλληλη σύνδεση την προσπάθεια του Αθηναϊκού και της Καλαμάτας να αποσπάσουν θετικό αποτέλεσμα με στόχο την παραμονή τους. Αντίπαλοι τους, η Ξάνθη και ο Άρης αντίστοιχα. Και τη Δευτέρα, ο πρωταθλητής Ολυμπιακός αντιμετωπίζει το σκληροτράχυλο Ηρακλή σε μια σπουδαία αναμέτρηση. Την Κυριακή, σε παράλληλη σύνδεση, Αθηναϊκός κοντά Ξάνθη, Άρης Καλαμάτα. Και τη Δευτέρα, Ολυμπιακός Ηρακλής. Αποκλειστικά και ζωντανά στο κανάλι των πρωταθλητών. Για των πρωταθλητών σε όλα τα γήπεδα του κόσμου υπάρχει ένα μόνο κανάλι. Super Sport, το κανάλι των πρωταθλητών.
Ετοιμάσου. Στις 12 Μαΐου θα παίξεις για πρώτη φορά στη ζωή σου στον τελικό κυπέλλου Ελλάδος. Μόνο στην Nova. Πάρε μέρος στο πρώτο interactive τελικό με το Super Sport Extra. 6 δυνατότητες στην οθόνη σου. Ταυτόχρονα. Παίξε και στις 2 μεγάλες περιοχές. Αποφάσισε για τις αμφισβητούμενες φάσεις. Απόλαυσε τις καλύτερες στιγμές του αγώνα. Για πρώτη φορά στις 12 Μαΐου δες την τηλεόρασή σου όπως δεν την έχεις δει ποτέ ξανά. Nova. Τα πάντα είναι στο χέρι σου.
Guys that are doing the blue collar work. There's a lot of stars involved in this, particularly Garnett and Duncan offensively. But when you see guys that come out and work on the defensive end of the court, those are the guys that make it possible for you to take a lot of bad shots.
Christie tonight, another good game. He had 7 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in Game 1. So he is giving him good minutes as a starter. And as a defender, he is the guy that had the most steals in terms of total number of steals of any player in the NBA this year.
Well, he doesn't count his attempts, as Danny said earlier. Most guys like to play with a guy that will play defense, a guy that's not concerned about how many offensive shots he's going to get. He's the kind of guy that's a perfect teammate because he does a lot of the blue collar, a lot of the dirty work out there on the floor.
2.5 to play in the game as Tony Dell gets a couple free throws. Kings led by 9 after 1. 20-point lead at halftime. 32-point lead after 3. Their biggest lead, 34 points tonight. The Suns now in 2 games have shot 41%. And tonight, 32% from the field. 3 from outside won't go. And out of bounds. Utah-Dallas. Utah winning last night in a physical, weird game up at the Delta Center. Saturday, they'll play again Game 3. Stockton continues, Danny, to play some outstanding basketball.
Yeah, 42 minutes last night and just leading the team, controlling the tempo. The game comes easy to Stockton. But Karl Malone, another great game. 34 points. Just a good effort. And Brian Russell had a fantastic game. But I still think, I mean, Dallas found some things last night. The trap. The post-up play of Finley and Nowitzki, I think, that could still go. Dallas has some great young talent, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to Utah.
Perry to Vinny Del Negro. John, you're shaking your head.
No, I think it'll still go for next year.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Utah's such a good team, but I mean, Dallas just has so much talent. I mean, home court, it's going to be crazy. I think they'll respond. I don't think they're going to quit. I don't think they know how to quit, and that's why I just think, you know, it'll depend on how Utah comes out to play.
Well, Dallas is an impressive team, but you've got to be impressed with, as you indicated, what Utah is doing. Malone and Stockton have been consistent in how they play, and these guys are doing a tremendous job of playing together as a unit.
Turkoglu hits from outside, and Chris Dudley, the much-traveled Chris Dudley, who thinks he may retire at the end of this season, puts it in for the Phoenix Suns with about 62 seconds to play.
You know, getting back to that Dallas series, you know, Dallas is the kind of team that can beat you when you play well. Utah can keep playing as well as they've been playing, but Dallas is the kind of team like Sacramento that can put a ton of points on the board with their outside shooting if they can get tempo and get the crowd involved.
Well, particularly, as you indicate with the outside shooting, offensively inside in the post, that was the only area that I saw that I thought that they were pretty soft in.
But I think they can do that. I think they found late in the game as they started making their comeback that they have an inside game. Nowitzki's a tough matchup for all their guys, and so is Michael Finley.
Barry to Thunderbird. Well, Kings played well tonight. John Thompson was looking for Chris to thrive inside, and John, sure enough, you're right on the money. When he was inside and shooting, he was successful.
As I said in the beginning, he had to be a bull. He couldn't be a butterfly and float around. He established his presence early in the game inside, did some muscle things, which is very important, which opens up a lot of things for that team.
And it didn't have anything to do, he made some comments in the paper about, you know, their coach not being as tough as Scott Skiles, but it has to do with the toughness of the Bulls on the court that determine the game.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Bobby Jackson, Thunderbird. That'll do it. The series is tied at 1 win apiece. Game 4 will be back on Turner next Wednesday night as we send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, the Kings got the lead with 7 early points by Jason Williams, up 15-13. It turned into a blowout. Why were you so confident? What was the tone you're trying to set?
I just wanted to come out and be aggressive and take my open shots and try to get my team on a fast roll.
The first game ended 86-83 with you taking an ill-advised, maybe off-balance 3. You were very disappointed. Everybody was disappointed. How did you turn your emotions around and get pumped up for this one?
You're going to miss every shot that you don't take, so I just wanted to come out and just be aggressive again and just try to help my team get a win.
We talked about the newspaper article. Obviously, you talked to Coach Adelman, found out that you told